What's going on, guys? It's your boy Stock Scrubby here, back again with another video. Stocks went up, stocks went down. We're gonna talk about it. Keep in mind, this is not financial advice. I'm just talking about stock news over gameplay. It's for entertainment. Without further ado, let's go. Alright, so the first thing that I wanted to talk about today was just kind of the money printing situation that's been going on in this country and basically every country across the world. For those of you that don't know, when COVID happened, the United States started to print quite a bit of money in order to buy stuff to keep the economy floating. And as for just how much money they printed, to put it in scale, this is a little chart that I found talking about how 21% of all US dollars were printed in 2020. Now, the 2021 chart is also pretty bad. They printed an absolute crap ton, and I think this is where inflation is coming from. I mean, if you just look at the graph, it's pretty obvious. We printed a crap ton of money. And I know a bunch of you guys are like, why are you even talking about this? Well, I wanted to talk about this because this is kind of the reason that inflation is going crazy. Housing prices are going crazy. Stock prices are going crazy. Basically, all assets are going up is because they decided to print a bunch of money. Basically, what ended up happening is the Federal Reserve came out and printed an absolute buttload of money. Like, literally 21% of all dollars in 2020, and I think it was another 21%, 25% in 2021. So half of all dollars printed in the last 2 years. And they took that money and they bought securities. For those of you that don't know what that is, it's like similar to a stock in a way. They mainly bought mortgage-backed securities from what I can find, which is related to, the housing market. But overall, they were buying a bunch of stuff to keep liquidity in the market, which is the amount of cash circulating. If there's not enough cash circulating, the economy will start to have problems. And because the economy was closed, they printed a bunch of money to fill the gap. Well, the problem with that is when the economy came back online, it came back a little bit hotter than everyone expected. And so they had printed all this money and put it into the system thinking that they were going to have to offset a bunch of businesses doing bad. Not all of them ended up doing as bad, so we have a situation where asset prices are rising because the economy's doing well, and on top of that, we have the main bank printing a bunch of money, jacking up the prices too. So the, fact that inflation is going crazy, prices are up for basically everything across the board, has a lot to do with the fact that our bank just has been printing money like absolute bonkers. And I'm not a financial expert. Obviously, there's a lot more complicated stuff at work, but when you explain it, and look at it this way, it's easy to see why inflation is going crazy. And what's really nuts is just how this isn't just an America problem. So central banks' balance sheets tend to really have a measure of how much they're supporting the economy. If they're having to be buying a lot more stuff to keep liquidity in the market and keep stuff churning, it's usually a sign that, the economy's not doing what it's supposed to be doing. Well, if you look at all of the central banks, and how much that they've got on their balance sheets right now, basically everybody has just been jacking up the amount of buying that they're doing. So I'm not surprised that inflation is just becoming a pretty consistent issue. That being said, I just wanted to talk about that. I thought it was interesting, figured it would be something y'all would enjoy. Let's get to the stock market news from today, though. So not necessarily stocks directly, but a pretty similar asset class. Crypto is getting absolutely body slammed right now. Bitcoin slumps to a 3-month low as cryptocurrencies extend losses. Honestly, I'm not really surprised that crypto is getting squeezed. Truth be told, it's the most speculative investment out there. It definitely could be the future, but that being said, with every asset kind of starting to have some rocky futures ahead with high interest rate yields coming, the most speculative investments tend to get peeled off people's balance sheets first, and it just so happens that crypto is the most speculative investment. Not to mention, it's done so incredibly well over the last year that if you're up 400% on your Bitcoin, you're just gonna sell it. Even if it's down 20% in the last day, you're still up 400%. So it's worth it for you to take that, maybe take that cash off the table, especially if stocks are gonna continue to slide. If you're up a crap ton on Bitcoin, you can take some of your earnings from that, transfer it over to some dividend yielding stocks, just diversify a bit. And on top of that, tax loss harvesting at the end of last year, if people were down on Bitcoin, they were gonna sell, which happened happens with stocks, but I don't think many people are considering how many people are probably up hundreds of percent on Bitcoin right now. Like, if you own Bitcoin in 2017 for $3,000, you're still up, what, 1,000%? More than that, but you know, you did pretty well regardless of a small drop. Next up, the most expensive house in America is coming to market, and the story behind it is kind of embarrassing. Most expensive home in America list for $295 million may head to auction. It was built by Niall Niyami, who promoted it as the biggest and most expensive home in America with an eventual asking price of $500 million. It was placed into receivership last year, and if it doesn't sell quickly, the one heads to auction in February as part of a bankruptcy agreement and will be sold to the highest bidder. Yeah, I feel like that's definitely not how you want this to go. This was actually the video Codyco made with that one real estate developer walking around that insane house. This is that same house. Originally, it was listed for a cool $500 million, but now it's gone into bankruptcy, which oof, big oof on that, and is going to be sold for $295. You know, a swift $200 million discount maybe overshot how much people were going to be willing to pay for it just a little bit. I just don't know why you would ever want to spend $500 million on a house. You know, I understand if you got that kind of money, you probably got private security, but I feel like that's just slapping a giant sign on your house that says, please rob me. You have $500 million just in your real estate. Could you imagine how much the art in that house is gonna be, you know, like just the insanity of the car collection in the garage? I just wouldn't want people to know that I had a $500 million house. Also nuts that, like, it was placed into bankruptcy. Who gave the guy the loan to build a $500 million dollar house, right? If there was no market for it. Like, if it's going to auction at $295, clearly somebody overshot this by $200 million. Who underwrote that loan? Moving on over to GameStop stock, if you're a meme man, it had a pretty good day based on the fact that it announced that it's doing an NFT marketplace. GameStop shares surge on report it will create NFT marketplace. Honestly, you know, I've made fun of NFTs a lot. I don't really get them, so I will personally never be invested in them. If you're printing money on them, good for you, man. Seriously, I'm not here to hate. That being said, I think this is a step in the right direction for GameStop. A majority of their investors tend to be on the younger side, probably involved more in the crypto market. No major companies have really gotten involved in the NFT space that weren't startup based, you know, so this is a good step in the direction for them. Overall, it makes sense for GameStop to be getting involved in making an NFT marketplace, and it makes sense that the people that are invested in GameStop stock like that news and it went up on that. Seriously, like, you know, you just got to consider what companies are aiming for, what their demographic of investors is. If GameStop is based around being a meme company that people want to take to the moon, being involved in new technology that those people are also probably involved in is a good way to boost investor loyalty. Next up, I wanted to talk about a cool development coming from a car company. I'm telling you, Tesla lit a fire under everyone's butt. BMW's new iX Flow concept car can change colors. Honestly, I think this is awesome. Self-driving cars, definitely the innovation I'm looking the most forward to, but at the same time, this is dope. Just imagine being able to change your car's color like a mood ring. See, I know this is kind of like, it doesn't change any of the performance of the vehicle. That's right. That being said, this is a feature that I would pay for, you know? Maybe it's just because I'm stupid and played a lot of Grand Theft Auto, but being able to change the color of my car sounds pretty dope. And our last story is something that's got to be pretty depressing if you're not home yet. Travel industry must roll with the punches amid COVID uncertainty, said travel services firm. Basically, it was an article about how delays and all this crazy stuff can basically continue to be expected as long as this surge is going on. It's nuts to me that there are people that have literally been stuck in the airport since like Christmas and still haven't really been able to find a way home. Like, could you imagine just having been in the airport for the last 2 weeks? And before anyone's like, why would they drive? Yeah, they probably are now, but most of the time the airline's like, just wait, we'll figure it out, we'll get you on a flight, so, you know, you're not trying to get out of there if you already paid for a ticket. Other than that, guys, that's pretty much all the crazy news from today. I'm gonna go over the main indexes. Currently, Dow Jones looking like it's up 0.24%, S&P 500 down 0.16%, NASDAQ down about 1%, and the Russell 2K down about 1% as well. So pretty negative day if you're involved in technology, but S&P 500, Dow Jones pretty flat overall, nothing too crazy. Anyways, guys, that's gonna do it for the video. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you did, I'd appreciate you taking a second to press the like button. Let me know in the comments section down below what you thought, and of course subscribe if you're new and turn on notifications. If you really want to help me out, I would appreciate a comment. It just helps the video do better. You know, these aren't doing the hottest, so if you want more of them, I'd appreciate you leaving a comment. Other than that, a link to the intro song can also be found down below, along with a link to my podcast, The Scuffed Cast, or you could use code SCRUBBY at the G Fuel checkout. Great way to get a discount on G Fuel. Help me out at the same time. But yeah, on that note, don't get anyone pregnant. If you do, make sure they're hot, and I'll see you guys next time. I'm out. Peace.